Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Pete.
And this is A Zenny Saved. Hey everybody, thanks for coming to the show. Today we're going to talk about a few things, and we're going to have, I think, a Smash DLC review, right?
We are going to have a Smash DLC review, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Look forward to that. And let's get started. First on the list is Street Fighter V. Is coming out, or might already be out, depending on how long it takes me to edit this and post it. So, but Street Fighter V is the game of the week, or if not month, for February. So, I'm going to run down some latest Street Fighter V news. Alex announced as a DLC character, the first DLC character of 6 coming out this year, and we can expect him in March. And from what I understand is they're rolling out a character every month. I thought it was going to be every other month. I thought it was going to be for like a year.
It looks like it'll be every month leading up to the story mode.
Yeah.
And then like they'll take a break for story mode, and then after that it'll be monthly.
Okay, because what I understood was it'll go through September, before everyone is rolled out. So that makes sense,
so,
I guess.
March, April, May, June is story mode, and then July, August, September.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. And so we have that to look forward to. Everybody should have enough fight money by then to just unlock Alex. I'm still apprehensive, waiting to see how much money, how much in-game currency it costs to buy a character, because it's like, well, you can just play the game.
Well, that's the good news. They announced that.
Yeah.
It's 100,000
Zenny
fight money.
Or fight money.
Fight money. That you earn. Which they also said that if you go through each character's arcade mode, you will have enough to unlock one character from that.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. If you're a Balrog player, that's maybe not as exciting because you're going to have to wait for him.
Yeah.
But he is expected to be the next one.
Oh, cool.
So looking forward to that.
So I guess April, Balrog, and I wonder who's next week. Urian? Or maybe Jury?
Ibuki? Who knows? It's really depending on what their schedule is, and they haven't released any information on that.
I am a little disappointed to find out that the story takes place before Street Fighter 3. So any hopes of getting an older, more developed Sean are pretty much kibosh at this point.
Oh, well, to be fair, they have made it firm that this is the game that really establishes the link between 4 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, Street Fighter game order is weird to begin with.
Yeah.
But
1, 2,
no,
4
alphas.
Wait. Oh yeah. 1 alphas.
1 through 3.
2.
Super 2.
Super 2.
Super 2 Turbo.
I mean, well, we'll just. Oh, that's all 2.
Which is weird because it actually, for some parts, it does matter.
Right.
I don't.
The 2 timeline, then 4, then 3.
The 4, 5,
and then
3. And who knows where the EX plus Alpha games come in.
They don't come in.
Oh. Poor Skullmania.
I'm so sorry. They didn't even give him a proper super move. It was just like unfinished animations of other moves cut together.
Well. They didn't try.
they were just like, yeah, everybody else has all this shit, and then Skullmania, we don't have time. For this.
Like all that really matters is when's Dan coming?
Dan 2017.
Dan 2017.
Or we riot.
Hashtag Dan for Street Fighter 5.
Hashtag Dan.
The other thing that they announced was not the season pass, but a season pass that is available right now.
Yeah, I'm not buying the season pass before the game is out.
Right. For $29.99, you'll be able to get all of the new downloadable content characters. You get a free PS4 theme, and the part that confuses me is that you get a discount on the character costumes. So why don't I just get the costumes with the season pass? That part really confuses me.
Yeah, what?
I don't understand the mindset behind that, but I'm guessing that it just means that it'll cost fewer fighter points to unlock.
Yeah, maybe.
I hope that it's a gouging discount.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, that's kind of not
It's
really a
insulting.
feature.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, everything's on sale $6 off, but you raised the price $7 yesterday.
Right. And that's the other thing. Looking at past Capcom deals, like they will occasionally have sales on their season passes or content, or whatever. So it's like, well, do I just get the season pass now, or do I wait till it's cheaper and then see what happens? Because I have a feeling that the first sale on that is going to happen shortly after all the characters are released towards the end of the year.
Yeah, right.
Because it'll happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of, seeing, because I don't want it to be like that free-to-play model where it's like, yeah, you don't have to give us money, but we're going to make your life miserable if you don't. So it's like, I'm kind of on principle. My plan is to just hold out and just grind as much as necessary to unlock everything that comes out. Like, you're not getting any more of my money, Capcom.
Well, we know that that's going to require at least 800,000 fight money for the characters alone. Yeah. And if you want those sweet extra costumes that you couldn't pre-order, because, you'd have to pre-order through like 5 different stores.
Yeah, 4.
4 or 5. Okay, 4
so
different
PSN,
stores.
Amazon, GameStop, and Best Buy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get all the extra costumes.
I'm not doing that.
No. I'll pre-order
for that.
like. Here's the thing. Having played the beta, we both know that the gameplay itself is very solid.
Mm-hmm.
It is crisp. It's lovely.
Feels great.
It feels good.
Like Tony. Feels good.
Oh, yeah. We here at Zenny Save really value our dollar.
Yeah.
So we feel that the base game is going to be a solid $60 value. Let's see how things go beyond that.
Yeah. Let's see.
Let's see.
And there's going to be some things missing at launch that are going to get rolled out within a month, and so sometime in March we're going to start seeing a couple of features that didn't make it to the day one release. And they're going to be for free, no fuss, no muss, just got to download them. At this point, if you're playing on PS4 or Xbox One, it's not on Xbox One, but I'm just making a point, and you don't have an internet connection, you pretty much have half a console anyway, so...
True.
If you're playing, at this point, if you're playing 8th gen games without an internet connection, I don't really know what to tell you. So for everybody, most people concerned, I'm hoping, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. You're not going to be buying, 90% of a game and then you're missing the last 10% that's going to get rolled out over time.
Yeah, there's not even a physical release on the PC.
Yeah.
It's
all Steam.
It's all Steam. So, how else are you playing this game? So I'm really hoping that the servers are going to be as solid as they were in the beta.
Yeah.
But seeing as the beta was only for those who pre-ordered, I don't know.
We'll see.
The last beta did have crossplay with the PC guys, so
yeah,
and that went pretty well.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I wonder what the pre-order rate was like. What were the pre-order numbers? Because they have that information, and hopefully they use that to inform the day one release. And the first week isn't a big old mess as far as like server load and quality of online play, like servers going down and all that stuff. Because all these big name publishers, they put out a game, they have like record-breaking pre-orders and all this crap, and then the day one online is terrible. And it's like, you were bragging a month ago about breaking pre-order records. How were you not ready for this?
Yeah.
And there's no excuse for that. So hopefully, they get their act together. I feel like it's just this. I feel like they do it on purpose. It's like when your store understaffs.
Yeah.
And just says we'll deal with it.
When your store understaffs Christmas.
Yeah. and it's like, okay, you knew what was about to happen. There's no reason for the server load to be like overwhelmed at this point. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
So it's like you had the data, you had it. It's not like 15 years ago, you just didn't know what was going to happen on day one.
Right.
They have all the information now. So like, They basically live and die by that data.
Right. And it seems like Capcom is making the right strides forward.
Yeah,
so,
because when the beta first started last August, it was terrible, and then
it was bad.
It was unbelievably bad, and then
it was load screen the beta.
Yeah.
Take a look at the title screen. Isn't it great?
Yeah, I actually managed to get on for one day out of like 4 or 5 days and play during that time. It was so bad, but it took forever to get a match, even once you logged in. And it was like, wow. Any other time, it was just like just mashing the X button at the start menu.
Hoping for the best.
I actually was on my computer, and I had my game console over here on my right, and I just remapped, because on PS4 you can remap the buttons, and then from the system menu, and then I just had it set up so the X button was the trigger button, and it was just at my computer doing my work and doing whatever else while the beta kept reloading and just going like this with my right hand.
Well, at least we hopefully won't have to worry about that.
Seriously. But
in a few days / in the past.
Yeah.
When this is out.
Yeah, so the subsequent betas were great.
Mm-hmm.
Almost had no trouble getting on the other times. I guess maybe during some stress tests or something you might have had some trouble, but the last 3, I guess, because they did like 4 total.
Yeah.
Runs, because they did that bonus one that week. You got on, and you were on. You could play until they took it down, and it was cool.
Yeah, it was great.
So it was working, and it was so much fun. Like, so a lot of, despite the misgivings about content rollout and what the price tiering and stuff is going to be, I am really excited about Street Fighter V. I'm like, looking forward to this game. Like, it's so close right now. I'm just like, give it to us.
Sounds like you and I are going to have a joint review in the future.
Sounds like it. It's going to be good.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is that in preparation for this, you went and picked up a little something, and I picked up a little something as well.
Oh yeah. So
why don't you show this off real quick?
Because I didn't want to wait and see. Was Capcom going to allow us to use our PS3 controllers? So I went and grabbed the Hori RAP4 Arcade Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I had to remember that real quick. And because I really, those Mad Catz fight sticks were cool and all, but they're a little overpriced for me. They're like $220, something like that.
Yeah, Mad Catz sticks were overpriced for what you got.
Yeah.
They were $200 for maybe $100 worth of stuff. And that never really flew well with me.
No.
But Hori is quality company.
Hori tends to do right by us. It's got everything you need. It's got the touchpad on here, which is cool for PS4 players.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's right there.
That's really cool. I was like, so, just got it out of the box, just analyzing it, It's like, oh, is that the touchpad? That's slick.
It's incredible.
And Street Fighter 4 is going to have some touchpad support in the practice mode.
Really?
So, like, while you're setting up combos or practicing drills, you can touch on the left, center, or right to reset your characters respectively across the screen.
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty dope. So I was like, okay, that actually adds a little functionality. I'm like, okay, that's cool. They put it on there. When am I going to use it? But there you go. It's laid out like pretty much every other fight stick I've used, arcade size anyways. It's got the L1 and L2 and R1 and R2 button set up there. Same as the Mad Catz controller.
This has got the options button on the front too.
Yeah,
you don't often see that in the same line, so that's
right
nice.
There. And it's got enough space that you're not going to hit it on accident. It's not you're not gonna be jamming over here and then just be like, oops, pause, my bad, I lost the game, or whatever. And then here it's got all your PS4 features, right? So you've got your home button and L3 and R3, which I don't think you're going to need for fighting games, really.
Not too much.
And you got your turbo button and your share button right here.
In case you ever want to try playing Bloodborne with a fight stick, I guess.
And do not accidentally reach over and press this button in the middle of online play.
Oh yeah, what's that one?
It's a share button.
Whoopsie doodle.
You will lose. You will lose your online matches. Keep your hands right here. When the match is over, then you can share your whoopings.
I don't imagine too many people are cradling their fight stick on the side while playing.
And I hope not. I'm still working out the finer points right here. You know, I know what this button does. This is there's some switches right here. I don't know if you can see these guys, but directional. The top one here is switches between directional pad, left stick, and right stick control.
Nice.
And I remember one time I thought my fight stick was broken, an older one. I thought it was broken. I was like, my stick, it doesn't work. It's not working. What do I do? It's broken. I spent $150 on this thing. I'm done.
That's horrible.
And no, the switch was just set to the switch was set to right stick, so there's no right stick.
Did you make any dramatic changes, like get a new controller before realizing that?
No, I almost did. I almost made some serious decisions.
Now, is the stick itself customizable? Like, can you change the ball on the stick or anything like that? With most Hori products, you can.
I haven't looked into that.
Okay.
But I'm willing to bet you can. It looks like you can open this bad boy up pretty easily.
Oh yeah, look at that.
You know, there's only a handful of screws on the bottom.
2 grips there.
And yes, for sitting on your lap, boom.
And I imagine that it's not going to move around on tables too much either.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's perfect.
So it's got this nice padding right here to keep it steady and not move anywhere.
How much did you pay for this?
I paid $150 for this controller.
$150. That's a great price.
Which is at least $50 less than a Mad Catz official controller.
Mm-hmm.
Last price I checked, $70 less. So it's big. It's got weight. It's quality. It's gonna take a beating. You know.
That's wonderful.
You know, Hori stuff is always good. Is always on point. My first fight stick was actually a Hori fight stick, the little smaller one. Mm-hmm. It's pretty dope.
That's awesome.
And it still works great. And you know, I would give this. Let's see, asking price $150. I would say, yeah, it's worth $150. It's worth asking price. Try and find a deal where you can. Maybe in coming months you can find a used one for like $100 or something like that.
Well, you know, I have a deal for you.
But if you get it at list price, you're gonna be happy with it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. See, me, I went out and found a deal because they also make fight pads, and I picked up the Hori Fighter 4. And what I love about this controller is the fact that it works on the PS3 and the PS4.
That's nice. I forgot to mention that these do.
Hori is such a fantastic company. You know, you've got, for me, I've never been much of a stick guy, but I love fight pads.
I feel like I'm the only guy in my circle that messes with these. They're all
now, bear in mind, I have a Hori PS3 fight stick, which also works on the PS4. Yeah. Because thank God backwards compatibility and USB ports. But you know, I also really like having a good fight pad. And for me, I tend to play a lot of Zangief, which I like to call Zangief. And this is great for that because I can put my lights, my mediums, and my hards right there on the controller. I can quickly access the V skill. You know, there is turbo functionality if you really need that, but it also has
to spin those light attacks.
If you look right here, it has a switch around the front, 4 and 3. You switch that back and forth depending on which console you're using it on. And what's nice about this is that it has a weird feature that I don't fully understand. You look right here, there's a lock and unlock feature. When you switch it to unlock, you can actually rotate the cross pad 20 degrees. I don't understand this. I don't know who plays like this. It doesn't make much sense to me.
But if you do, we're going to find you and we're going to take you down.
I mean, we will. But at the same time, look, there's a controller here for you. So you can do that if you really want to. And what's incredible about this is when it came out, it was about $50.
Yeah. Which
I was like, $50 is a little pricey for a fight pad, even if it's a Hori product. What made me happy is that it quickly dropped to $30. You can get this for $29.97 right now. And that's the right price for this. It is a solid piece of plastic. It's not going to break on you. It's not too lightweight, so it doesn't feel like I'm holding nothing. But, you know, the The trigger buttons are nice and big, in case you want to use those. The buttons have a good click to them. Everything feels tight. It's not a digital pad, which some people might be turned off by, but it's a really solid Hori product. And just so you know, up there on the top is the share button. So make sure that you avoid that when playing online.
Yes. That's going to put you in at least, it's going to put you at least 2 menus deep.
Oh, yeah.
And by the time you get back out, the fight is over.
Yeah, you'll be taken out. This is, I think, for those who aren't sure if they want to invest in a stick or prefer a control pad, but notice that the PS4 doesn't have enough face buttons.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, unless you're playing as Akuma.
Yeah, and doing, the heavies on the trigger buttons is kind of cumbersome.
That's cumbersome. I mean, whenever I played games, even back on the Super Nintendo day, I would put on my 4 face buttons, I'd put my lights, my heavies, and my mediums on my triggers, which made pulling off Akuma's super easy. But it also made pulling off quick little combos also pretty easy, coming with a couple lights and with a heavy.
Nice.
Yeah, I really dig this controller. It's the right price point. I mean, if you're sitting there thinking that, oh man, I need to go out and get a good controller with the game, that still puts you at under $100 because the game is $60 and this controller is $30.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty on point.
Solid buy. God bless you, Hori. You're the best video game accessories company out there.
Yeah. Big ups, Hori. All right, Final Fantasy 15.
I feel like you should talk more about this because so for me it's just jokes about Metal Gear Solid.
Well, we're gonna get into that because I'm like, all right, but they just kind of put out a new Final Fantasy 15 trailer out of nowhere. Was there an event or something that I didn't hear about? Because it just seemed like it popped up, and
as far as I know, it was just them being like, have a trailer.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Square. Appreciate it.
Good show, guys.
Trying to do right by the players, I guess. But it looks so good, and it's got Noctis and his gang, and they're infiltrating some kind of base to destroy the secret nuclear weapon, Metal Gear. No, I'm kidding. But
Except they kind of are.
It does kind of resemble Metal Gear in some ways. Kind of like, it's like a dark, cold color palette, and the 4 of them are sneaking into some kind of enemy military base, and there's guys on patrol, and they're hiding behind stuff. And, Noctis is taking out guys with one-hit stealth kills.
And throwing his sword at people, and then teleporting to it and doing a stealth kill. And when I first saw this trailer, I had the sound off because I was at work. But I swear to you, I was hearing the old Metal Gear music in my head, dun, 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 as they're sneaking around and doing all this stuff.
And then you see these big ass robots, walking around on 2 legs, on guard patrol or whatever, and you're like, wow,
not geckos.
No, thankfully,
not geckos.
But they are definitely. Well, maybe it's just because they're bipedal robots. It's like Metal Gear-esque. I could see it. But I think it's kind of interesting, and then they get spotted or whatever, and then the fight breaks out, and they start going into fighting. They've updated the combat. You can see if you study the HUD and the move set that Noctis is using, and it looks like he's able to call on his friends to do specific moves, at any moment in the fight. We're not sure if that requires a certain amount of attack power or whatever, but he calls, Gladios, and then Gladios comes in with his big sword or whatever, and that kind of thing. And then he had some really high level fire magic and just lit the whole room ablaze, and you're just like, oh, it's so beautiful.
It really is beautiful, and I've got to say, this looks like the most action packed Final Fantasy game ever.
Yeah, it's like Final Fantasy meets Devil May Cry meets a little
Metal Gear Rising.
Metal Gear Rising in there.
I would not be surprised if it is announced that Platinum helped Phantom develop the combat in the game.
Yeah, they were like, hey guys, listen, we're having to do some stuff with the fighting right here, and we could use some advice.
And then Hideki Kamiya is just And like he and the team that worked on Bayonetta just walk in.
Yeah.
You know, I could see that. I mean, I'm joking, but I could kind of see that.
Yeah.
I just wonder how long is this game gonna be?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like there's open world aspects to it, but is it gonna be open world like Metal Gear Solid 5 had like open hubs with missions in them? You know, is it gonna be a more linear story like Final Fantasy 13, straight line the dungeon?
Yeah. I hope they learn their lessons from that.
I really hope so too, but you know,
the impression I got from the demo was that won't be the case.
Right, and you know, this time we got, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, did Tetsuya Nomura direct Final Fantasy 13? I want to say no.
I don't think so.
He just designed the characters.
Yeah.
Tetsuya Nomura, as a director, likes to keep things, like he's been getting more and more frenetic as time has been going on. So I imagine that this will probably be very accessible to the Western audience. Probably a lot less grindy. There'll probably be some super bosses that are wandering around and fight because of Final Fantasy. But I am excited. I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, and we're going to get a release date announcement, I guess, in March.
We are announcing an announcement. Final Fantasy 15 coming out.
So it is coming out this year. They did say 2016, so
it comes out to believe
because it comes out at any point this calendar year. I'm happy
to believe it'll be out 2016. This is Tetsuya Nomura, the master of the delay.
Well, the only reason I'm not cynical, like I'm cautiously optimistic, the only reason I'm not cynical is because Square needs to be releasing games if they don't want to go bankrupt at this point.
They've got mobile games.
Mobile
games. They just re-released Final Fantasies on Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but just that's not covering the cost of development of Final Fantasy 15 or 7 remake.
Whoa! You mean to tell me re-releasing Final Fantasy 9, the best Final Fantasy game of all time? How dare you? On Steam won't cover the costs of Final Fantasy 15.
I'm skeptical.
Considering that's a game that's been in development for nearly a decade, which I'm getting a little scared by Square Enix's development cycles of nearly 10 years per game.
Well, I think here's something that seems to be happening. I wouldn't call it a trend, but it's certainly a pattern. There's some games that, and not just Square, or not just Japan, but like some games, because Fallout 3, or Fallout 4, I should say, kind of is in this category where it started out, or we probably can guess that it started out as a 7th gen game, PS3, Xbox 360. Started out as that, and something went wrong or wasn't coming together, and then it got pushed over to 8th gen development, PS4, Xbox One, and either they dug their heels in, really put the next gen polish on the game, or they were just like, well, we need to get it out by this year, so here we go. So Fallout 4 was one of those games where like, we need to get it out now, or we need to get it out soon, and you know, consequences be damned.
Yeah.
And big love to you with Bethesda. Yeah. Bethesda. Big love Bethesda. And then I can't even, I'm not even that big on their games, but you guys are alright. And then you got Last Guardian and Final Fantasy 15 where they're like, alright, we gotta move this to next gen, but we can't release it like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're putting the time in.
True.
I feel like that's what's happening. So I feel like, and they were so secretive about it for so long. I feel like it's further along.
It's true. I mean, they had
letting on.
They had but a single trailer for Final Fantasy back when it was a part of Final Fantasy 13.
Nova Crystal, Fabula Nova Crystal.
Which, you know, I wonder how much of that has been scrapped and how much of it has been kept, because the sheer amount of things I don't care about with Final Fantasy 13 is all of it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I feel like they probably anything.
And like Final Fantasy, because the Final Fantasy Agito finally came out.
Yeah.
In America on the PS4 and Xbox One. I don't know. Did that still have storyline connections to Final Fantasy
Nah.
15?
No, I don't think there were storyline connections. I think they were just motifs or recurring, or like some certain motifs or parallels. I can't.
That's every Final Fantasy.
I'm more or less. Yeah, I'm saying that like specific to these games. More, but I can't really comment on that because I skipped 13. Like everything that was happening, I played the demos and I was just like, no, I don't want this.
I tried and I couldn't.
And everybody was like, once you play it for like 30 hours, then the game really opens up. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
I have better things to do with my life than go through 30 hours of mediocrity to get to enjoyment.
I could beat.
I cannot think of a more apt...
the entire Uncharted trilogy in 30 hours. Are you kidding me?
I cannot think of a more apt metaphor for life.
Yeah.
Substitute hours for years.
What you grind for a good 25, 30 years. And everything really opens up for you. That's not why I play video games.
Thanks. So
you got 30 minutes.
So I mean, the footage from Final Fantasy 15 looks great. I'm excited about it moving forward. Now let's see what happens.
Yeah. So if it's even a 30-hour game, you know, and we're measuring this in JRPG or just RPG metrics. If it's a good 30-hour game, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be this 50, 60, 100-hour game. You know, and I don't honestly expect that.
Not
this
anymore.
Point, you know, and even then, you know, it's like I'm 30 years old. I don't have time. I can't. I used all my vacation time on Metal Gear Solid 5. I can't just be.
You can't just like stay up until 3 a.m. playing a game and then wake up at noon the next day
and go to work at 1. No, I can't do that.
So
I'm fine. People are like, oh, the game's only you can beat it 25 hours. I'm like, great.
Good for you.
So yeah, that's what I love about Battlefield. I don't want to get off on a tangent, but you can just pick it up, put it down, you know, come back later and just play 2 games and turn it off, and it feels great.
Yeah, and I love how to celebrate Valentine's Day, if you're in the future, sorry you're missing out on this, double EXP and therefore double money weekend.
Yay!
So for all you lonely hearts out there, play some Battlefront.
Pew pew.
So moving forward, Assassin's Creed is skipping a year. Other than the Assassin's Creed Chronicles game, which apparently they don't count as Assassin's Creed, but it's still Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
That literally just came out like at the beginning of the month.
Are those the side scrollers and the different?
It's a side scroller, but apparently like
the China one, the Russia one.
They've done 3 at this point.
Yeah, there's another one.
Yeah, I can't remember the other one.
Sorry, the third one.
But the cool thing is, with the Russian one, they actually announced that all 3 games are super connected, and that there's actually like codes that you can find in each one that you can decipher.
Yeah.
So I mean that's cool that they released that information, but at the same time, the big games, which is apparently what they're talking about, not coming out this year. Which,
good.
Yeah. Some of the games that have come out in the past years have just not been good.
Not quality.
They've not been quality. Now,
Assassin's Creed hasn't been good since Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. You understand?
Now, see, this is where I'm going to interject and tell you that Assassin's Creed Syndicate was really solid.
Okay.
I enjoyed that a month.
You should do a review.
I should do a review of that because, I mean, I got it at half price.
If there's anybody out there like me, and I know there's at least a few of us who are, you know, just like we're really excited for Unity because Unity looked dope,
right?
And then Unity was terrible,
yeah.
Unity. So we just have been like moratorium.
And I don't blame you. I don't blame you. See, that's the problem with releasing crappy games in between your decent ones.
Yeah, you need to not do that.
Sonic the Hedgehog also knows this problem.
Sonic Team.
Because everybody forgets that Sonic Generations was a really solid game.
Yeah.
And have been like, there hasn't been a good Sonic game since 1996.
There ain't been a good Sonic game in 20 years.
Is that one game that came out? Another one?
There ain't been a good Sonic game in 20 years.
But, you know, Assassin's Creed was starting to get the same problem where they had these mediocre releases. Like the same year that Unity came out, Assassin's Creed Rogue came out and was a better game, and it was the underdeveloped B title
that they barely marketed.
They barely marketed it. You know, it got higher overall reviews than Unity.
Jesus.
It also wasn't. I mean, it had glitches because all Assassin's Creed games had glitches.
Yeah.
But it had fewer glitches than Unity. Unity had patches and patches and patches, and it's still broken.
Yeah, everybody understands that games have a certain level of glitchiness. There are going to be some bugs in there. But there's a certain level, all right? And then anything past that level, when it starts to become a thing, you guys got to...
There's a certain level of acceptability.
Pull it back.
So, yeah, I have to say, I really liked Syndicate. Syndicate was a lot of fun. It was a return to form of, like, really solid gameplay. They even redid the combat because they're like, you know, they aren't really using swords so much. I mean, they got canes and stuff, and like climbing isn't an issue because you have sweet grappling hooks, and it's like, oh, this is so good. How unfortunate that nobody is playing you because you really, you know, screwed the pooch here.
Yeah.
But they're skipping out, and I think that's a good thing because if they take the time and care that they took with Syndicate. And move with that forward, I think that the series will be better off.
Yeah.
Gameplay-wise. Story, I don't even understand what's going on
anymore. Yeah, right?
I think that once 3 happened, everybody was like,
okay, and then it just went off the rails.
And then the rails.
Because I understand you're this huge, you know, multinational corporation. You got to make your money. You got to make your bread. But you got to think long-term. Because if you just roll out these games every year and you let the quality suffer... Like, this isn't Madden. You don't get to just push out a game every year just because the roster updated. Like, you can't just roll them out every single year because at some point the quality is going to slip. It's going to happen.
Yep.
People are going to remember. And you might be able to slide for a couple years. You might be able to get away with it for a little bit. But people are going to notice. And then, you know, the word's going to get out and people are going to stop buying it. And then the subsequent titles that are actually better games than the ones that were flops are still going to flop because... people remember when they got burned. Like, you're gonna tank yourselves because you're not doing right by the consumers, and it's better to skip at least a year to let 1, anticipation build, and 2, to let your teams grind out quality on these titles to make sure they have the necessary polish and finish on them to make their solid games. If you are just cranking these things out for short-term, you know, numbers. It's gonna catch up with you.
Oh yeah,
it always happens. You guys gotta be smart.
It did because, I mean, Syndicate came out in October?
October, November.
It came out in October, and by Christmas, the PSN had it on sale for half off.
What?
And that's when I got it.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is I first of all, I think it's a really solid title. I think it's a really great $30 title. So, you know, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So, take your time. You know, let things simmer. Maybe let the pot reduce a little bit and see what happens. So,
stop rushing these games out before they've had a chance to brush their teeth. You know, and this goes out to every game developer. If you ever see our little video game channel and you see this video, you know, don't do that anymore. Just let anticipation and hype built for these games. Like you can't do that because it might work for like 2 or 3 years and then it's gonna backfire on you, and then you got nothing else coming up in the pipeline to back it up. So it's like then you're like, oh, what are we doing? We got, you know, we're losing all this money. So an extra year of development is nothing to a game that bombed compared to a game bombing. Or to another 2 games bombing because you ruined any goodwill you had.
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah.
A delayed game will eventually be good, but a bad game will always be a bad game. Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z.
Moving on.
Moving.
Let's move on. Possible Samurai Showdown in 2017. Pete, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so I mean, SNK.
I'm hyped. I'm a little hyped.
SNK has been making an effort to really bounce back as a game developer. They got into pachinko for a while. They got into the mobile game unit for a while. They backed out of all that. And now they're going back to traditional like game development. King of Fighters 14 isn't out yet.
I feel like that's a precursor to Konami in like 5 years.
Yeah, I feel
Hashtag fuck Konami.
Hashtag fuck Konami. I feel like, because of all the rumors that are swirling around, they're like, it'll be 3D models on a 2D plane, just like King of Fighters 14. And I'm like, oh, okay. Even though I would say that SNK has been more reliable on pushing out its properties, whether it's through re-releases or even newer releases. Because, I mean, Samurai Showdown had 5 games, I believe. Yeah. Not including the weird Samurai Showdown 64 game that was in the arcades.
Yeah.
But, at this point, it's entirely rumor material. Samurai Showdown has never been as popular as King of Fighters, as Fatal Fury.
Yeah.
I would even say Art of Fighting to a degree. I would sooner believe that they would make another Metal Slug game than they would Samurai Showdown.
Right.
So if it does happen, that's great, because I think Hamaru is just one of the best characters of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of my mains in Capcom vs. SNK2 for a reason.
Right. what probably needs to happen, besides King of Fighters 14 doing well, obviously, is they're probably gonna have to get one of the first party publishers in bed with them to help them market the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the issue here is marketing. Because fighting games have more or less are back, and if you can get the right people behind it, marketing it, and making people aware of it, and the game looks good, they should be fine. But we'll see. Like, people are really nervous about King of Fighters 14 right now, and like, we'll see what happens. And I'm willing to bet that they're considering Samurai Showdown, but that depends on how well King of Fighters 14 does.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that that's where their mindset's at right now. Yeah. If it does happen, I'll get it.
Right,
I mean,
it's cool.
It's great. It's always been a fun series in the past, so...
I feel bad about King of Fighters 14 because... Not because it's not a good game, or because King of Fighters isn't good. That's not what I'm saying. I'm really bad at it. So I want SNK to do well. I want to support them, but I have no business playing their games.
See, for those of us who love those games and are decent at them, I mean, me for one.
What's that like?
I can tell you, it is like being on the top of a mountain. Crisp and refreshing. No, like I'm really excited. It's a King of Fighters game. It's weird that people have been complaining about King of Fighters 14 because they haven't seen Terry Bogard yet. Mm-hmm. They're like, "Where's Terry? Where's Terry?" It's like, guys, it's King of Fighters. He's gonna be in it.
Yeah.
Just wait.
It's like when Street Fighter 4 hype was rolling out, and they're like, "Where's Ken?" It's like, he's gonna be in the game.
Remember how quickly he was announced in Street Fighter 5?
Yeah, he's gonna be in the game. Like
guys,
he's like the 4th or 5th character they announced.
Yeah, it's like he'll be there. Don't worry.
Calm down.
They're gonna show off an old one and a new one and an old one, just to make you realize that there's things happening.
Yeah.
So, Samurai Showdown, the reboot, cool if it happens.
Yeah. Keep a weather eye on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. So let's see.
So I've got some news about Mad Cats.
Oh, Mad Cats. We're going back to Mad Cats.
We're going back to Mad Cats.
Yeah, because we're talking about Hori earlier.
I feel bad for some of the Mad Cats crew because recently, the day before the earnings report, 3 of the major figureheads of the company resigned.
Oh,
that's never a good sign. And then the day of the earnings report came, and they lost $4.4 million.
Mm.
Now, to a lot of big companies, that's probably a drop in the bucket. Mad Cats is not a big company.
No.
They're not your Activisions. They are not your Nintendos.
No.
They're pretty small in the grandiose scheme of things. And they just cut... By the end of April, they're going to cut 1/3 of their staff.
Wow.
So my heart is out to to all those people who are going to lose their jobs and have to find new ones. But at least, they've been given enough of a heads up. It's not like, hey, earnings report, a third of you were canned.
Yeah.
Goodbye. So at least they're trying to do well enough to keep them on as long as they can.
Yeah.
But
man, that sucks.
That is terrible. But at the same time, Mad Catz is a terrible company. Yeah. I have never been a fan of their products, and I think that there's really two major factors as to why they've lost money. One, oversaturation of collectors' controllers. They had overpriced fight sticks. Again, $200 for a fight stick is pretty expensive, especially when you can get a really solid quality one from a competitor for $150. Look at that. It's a high-quality competitor. And some people be like, $50, that's just like, that's a 25% reduction in price. Yeah, well, it's also the price of the game. So, your argument's invalid. But also, this past year, Mad Catz teamed up with Harmonix to release Rock Band 4. First of all, Rock Band 4 was announced that it could be backwards compatible with all of its old instruments. So if you still had them from the Xbox 360 or the PS3, they'll work on your PS4 or Xbox One. And that's pretty great.
Sweet.
But they did also make bundles of the game with a guitar or the full guitar, drum set, microphone thing. And they charged more for it now than they would back when they first came out. So a bundle, a wireless, because these are all wireless, a wireless drum set, guitar, microphone, and game bundle of Rock Band 2 and 3 were $200. The same thing for Rock Band 4 is now $250. And that's a $50 price increase. So if you were one of those people that got rid of all your instruments, was like, oh man, I really want to get into Rock Band again. Oh, you're $250.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money, period. And then even the guitar with the game bundles are more expensive than their competitor, Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero sold game and controller for $100. Rock Band 4 was selling it for $130. As of recording this, oil prices are at an all-time low that they've been in since the early 90s.
Yeah. They're mid-90s gas prices right now.
Yeah, they're mid-90s gas prices. So
oil is like $20 a barrel.
Producing plastic probably is not as expensive as it was before.
Even this time a year ago.
And the crazy thing is, even Activision had to make new guitars to operate the new functions with their game. These are basically the same. These are the same models and the same functionality as the old Rock Band materials. The price was too high. Their competitor was just better priced. They lost a lot of money on Rock Band 4.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line. They've lost a lot of money on it, which is a shame, because Rock Band's always been really solid compared to Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
I
hate to see people lose their jobs, so I hope Mad Catz bounces back, but I hope they learn some hard lessons. And they need to understand that you have to do right by the consumers first.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded by that. So if you can't gouge people, because you might get a short-term gain, but long-term result is people are resigning and people are losing their jobs, and you're $4.5 million in the hole.
Yeah, I hope that whoever is taking over the company now has that in mind and moves forward and maybe ups the quality of their materials. But
because they've been around for a long time.
They have been. They've been around since at least 20 years. Finally, speaking of another institution that's been around for a long time, after 13 years, Game Trailers calls it quits.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that.
I felt so bad because you and I watched
Yeah.
the final Bosman, which
Shout out
is
to Kyle Bossman.
Kyle Bosman. You are fantastic, and you had such an unfortunately titled show.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad watching his last episode because he's like, tune in next week, and there is no next week.
Yeah.
Which
makes you wonder, like, when did they find out?
Oh, they found out day of.
Wow.
It was announced 4 hours to all the employees
Was
before
that
it was
what?
announced on Twitter.
Was it like Sunday, Monday, or something?
It was like Monday, yeah.
God.
So I feel horrible for those folks because they were all totally caught off guard. They do not have several months to get their things together.
Yeah.
They're gone.
That's wild, man.
And, I didn't care for all of Game Trailer's programming. Again, really, Final Bossman was it for me. I really sincerely hope that he makes a YouTube channel and continues his show in that format on YouTube because he deserves success.
Yeah.
He's
Kyle
thoughtful.
Bossman, you're excellent. I love your show. I hope you bounce back soon, man. Good luck.
Love you, Kyle. Of all the people that deserve success,
A lot of talented people up there.
Yeah.
I hope you guys do all right.
So, I think that's it for our downer news.
Yeah.
For this episode.
What's next?
So,
Sorry.
Metal Gear Online.
Metal Gear Online.
The little game that does nothing. Is releasing new DLC in March.
Hooray.
Yay.
I haven't played that game since I beat it.
I haven't played Metal Gear Online since it first came online.
I played. I liked it. I played it. I was like, this is cool. And never touched it again.
So, they actually have a pretty decently sized expansion of 3 new maps.
Cool.
For $4. That is shockingly reasonably priced, I think.
Oh.
Like, how much is a new map in, Call of Duty or...
Like, one map is like $5.
$5. And this is 3 for $4. And new character poses, which you buy in packs of 3 for $2 each, including some Ginyu-style poses. Things like that. For $2, and that's not bad. And then...
Ginyu Force, the original Dabbers.
And then Quiet.
Yeah.
Will also be in multiplayer mode for how many dollars?
Is she gonna have her speed abilities?
Yes.
Because
I don't understand. Frankly, I think she's gonna be OP as hell.
Either they just nerf the shit out of her, or she's gonna just destroy everybody.
I hope that she includes a hum button.
Or it's like Call of Duty, where you rack up a certain amount of kills, and then you get to play as Quiet, or you.
I don't know the format they're doing it as.
It's like, give me that 7-kill streak, and then you get Quiet.
Again, I don't know the format, but
yeah,
bless their hearts.
Yeah, because you had in the previous in Metal Gear Solid 4's online component, you got to play as Raiden and Van. Other characters, but they weren't. I don't think they broke the game.
And currently, you can play as Venom Snake and Revolver Ocelot.
Yeah.
So
we'll see how it turns out.
For our last bit of news, I am. It's an interesting mixed bag of holy wow and yeah, all right. Nintendo. I mean, they no longer do the player's choice games. Remember that back in the day?
Yeah.
When you get a really, really great game for a cheap price. So they're releasing a new round of Nintendo Selects of 4 3DS games, 4 Wii U games, and oddly enough, 4 Wii games. And I'm a little surprised by the Wii games. And all these across the board, $29.99. Which, for the 3DS games, these are games that retailed at $40. So it's like a $10 price.
Very cool.
Thanks, guys. Or a couple of them were $35. So it's yeah, thanks for taking $5 off. Wii games, generally speaking, are about $30. So really, this is just them reprinting some out-of-print games that are hard to get. And then for the Wii U, these are games that are $60. Now they're capped at half off. That's a great deal.
Yeah, nice.
And some of them are getting hard to find. But to me, these come out in blocks of meh, okay, and holy crap.
Yeah.
So. The meh ones are Mario Party Island Tour, which is probably one of the worst Mario Party games, period. Yoshi's New Island, which is basically a remake of Yoshi's Island which I've already played on the Super Nintendo, so thanks.
Yeah, we played that. We played that already.
Ocarina of Time 3DS, which has been out of print for a while. It actually had gotten rare game status for a while there, and people were like, it was like reselling for $50 for a while, complete. So nice that it'll be coming out again. The ones where I'm like, okay, that's all right. Donkey Kong Country Returns on both the 3DS and the Wii. They're both the same game, fundamentally. The 3DS doesn't have multiplayer, the Wii does. They're great games. They're fun games, and for $30, that's great.
Yeah.
Super Mario Galaxy 2, which is funny because you can download it on the Wii U for $20. But hey, they're starting to make the differential value between downloaded games and physical games.
Yeah.
Physical games cost more. You want to download it, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Animal Crossing City Folk, which is the last console release for Animal Crossing, came out, I want to say 2008-ish. Has been out of print since like 2010, so
Jeez.
Good for them. And the NES Remix Pack on the Wii U, which came out for $30 and is re-releasing for $30, and it's plentiful in stock, so I really don't understand that one. The great ones, however, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which is a sequel to Donkey Kong Country Returns, and is a fabulous game for $30. Awesome. Nice. Pikmin 3, which has been out of print for a couple years now. That was a near launch title for the Wii U.
Yeah, so
came out the following March. Came out the following March.
Okay, so 2013.
It's been out of print since 2014, so a couple years now. Great. I love it. It's a great game. It's a quality game. Super Mario 3D World is now a $30 game. And Super Mario 3D World is such a fun game with 4 people. Remember when you and I played it with
that's great.
A couple of our friends on a big screen? That was amazing.
Yeah.
And the one that blows my mind, because this is a game that is super rare, has been reselling for $60 and is a Wii title. Super Mario All-Stars on the Wii is re-releasing.
Oh, word.
For $29.99.
Nice.
It is literally just Super Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo. And people are like, well, that was a Super Nintendo game. Why aren't they charging $8 for it?
Right.
Okay. Let me break this down to you.
Like 3, 4 games?
It's 4 games.
Yes, that's what I thought.
4 games, Super Nintendo style. So that's really $32 worth of games. And they're charging $30. So quit whining.
Yeah. It's 4 games in one, really.
It's 4 games in one, and it's great, you know? This is an amazing deal because, again, like at one point, I remember seeing this game selling used for $80.
Yeah.
And it kind of leveled out at like $60.
Yeah.
So, and you can't get it new anymore. It's
gone.
Again, it was made for Mario's 25th anniversary.
And that's it.
And they made a limited press run of those games. So now, I mean, you won't get like the bonus book or the bonus CD with it.
No. But
you get a really great game.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole game, it's a great game for $30.
Yes. That's a good deal.
So, by the way, if you're thinking about getting any of these games, wait until March 11th for when the price drop happens, because then you can start getting them used at even cheaper prices. Because I know right now you can get Mario 3D World used for $45.
Yeah.
Maybe wait a little bit, and you won't even have to spend that much. So, the Smash Brothers, the DLC. It is impressive how long and how high quality the DLC lineage for Smash Brothers has been. There are 7 new fighters that are varying degrees of, they're quite different from each other. And only one of which you could argue, maybe 2 of which you could argue are similar to currently existing fighters.
Yeah.
3 of these fighters come with brand new stages and music. Stages and music that are released separately, 4 stages on the 3DS, 5 for the Wii U. And then you have the Mii costumes. And for me, the Mii costumes, I mean, they're cool and all, but do you really need your Mii fighter to look like Geno from Super Mario RPG? Do you really need him to look like Knuckles? Some of them are like really lazy because like Tails has like a full Tails outfit, but then you're wearing like a Tails mask on your forehead. and not on your face. So it's
weird.
It's weird. The quality kind of like moves back and forth. It's weird, like they have a Vanguard outfit in there, but they also have existing characters. Like there's a Link costume, there's a Samus Aran costume. Kind of like, well, we already have these characters in the game.
Yeah.
Why do I need to pay for the privilege to look like them again?
Yeah.
In terms of value, Nintendo has made bundles for all of these things, and I think that when it comes to the characters, first of all, if you can live without stages or whatever, and if you have both the 3DS and the Wii U version, you should know that it's going to be $42 extra for 7 characters. We were just talking about Street Fighter Season Pass earlier. That's 8 characters for $30.
Yeah.
That said, these are really solid characters, and that is for both versions. It's $35 for all 7 characters on either just the Wii U or just 3DS.
Yeah.
You pay a little extra if you have both, and yeah, I have both. And we're talking Mewtwo, Lucas from Mother 3, Roy from Fire Emblem, Corrin from Fire Emblem Fates, and then the ones that really excite me were the guest characters.
Yeah.
Ryu from Street Fighter, playing just like he did out of Street Fighter 4. It's so weird. Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, and Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Playing just like Bayonetta. And when I say just like, I mean the fundamental gameplay for some of these characters, particularly with Ryu and Bayonetta, feels like they popped out of their games and are now in Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Ryu has moves that you can perform by doing quarter circle forward and backwards in Dragon Punch style, plus the A button. It actually does a more powerful version than if you just did the attack with the B button.
Right.
Which is amazing. Bayonetta, in Bayonetta, if you hold the attack button in that game, when you shoot you hit somebody and then you can keep shooting them for extra damage and then move on to the attack to the combo. Yeah. You can do that in Smash Brothers.
That's really cool.
It's wild. And like she has like 2 different dodges in Bayonetta, one that slows down time and one that totally negates any damage whatsoever. Her down B is the slowing down time move, and the closer you do it to when you actually get attacked, the longer time is slowed down.
Nice.
Which is awesome because that's just like the game.
Yeah.
And then if you just defend at the right time, where you hit block and then dodge at the same time, right before an attack, you can actually parry them.
Nice.
Which is amazing. You do the same thing for Ryu as well.
That's cool.
It's crazy. And he actually has the same parry stance. And I love that. These are characters that are all totally varied. The argument being that Lucas plays a lot like Ness, but they did a lot of tweaks to make him different enough. He has the strongest up smash in the game, period, which does 36% damage at full charge. From 0 to 36, that's a lot. And it has the highest launchability of any up A attack.
Yeah.
And then Roy, Roy, again, started out as a Marth clone back in Melee. Mm-hmm. And in a game where you literally have Marth and Lucina, who's like his great-great-great-granddaughter, who plays exactly like him, but the difference is her blade is strong at all points, but not quite as strong as Marth's blade. Roy is a get-up-in-your-face fighter with a sword.
Yeah.
Because his most damage is at the hilt. Mm-hmm. So you're probably playing a little more frenetically than you would with Marth. Marth is careful, decided strokes. Roy is just like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to hit you with my sword, and you're going to be on fire, and you're going to like it. Cloud Strife plays like a Smash Bros. Character, honestly. Yeah. But he's unique in that, yes, he's a sword fighter, and yes, there are a lot of sword fighters in Smash Brothers, and people always complain about it, and I don't get it. Just don't select a sword fighter. Yeah. All in all, are these characters worth $35 for one version or $42 for both? I say yes. Absolutely. Because they're different enough, and if you really break down the price, that's $5 per character. Yeah. On average. They're not $5 per character in the store, though, because characters that come with stages, and 3 of them do, cost a little more. Cloud comes with a stage. He comes with Midgar. Ryu comes with a Street Fighter stage. And then Bayonetta comes with the clock tower, the falling clock tower from the first game. And it's super fun. And it all comes with music. Like, all these stages come with music from their respective games, and you can always edit those and change that. That's so fun.
Yeah.
That's so great, and there's a lot of value there. Now for stages. Stages are debatable, I think, in terms of, like, the guest character stages, they come with those. That's great. The other stages are kind of meh. There's a Super Mario Maker stage, which will randomly change things on the screen. It'll change the layout of the level that you're playing on. It keeps things different and frenetic. Because if you're playing in Omega mode, it's just kind of boring. Like, hey, you have another Mario level.
Yay.
Good for you. A couple of levels are from the Nintendo 64 version. Like the Hyrule Temple from Nintendo 64 and Peach's Castle from Nintendo 64. And they honestly look just like the Nintendo 64 ones. There doesn't seem to be too much of a graphical update. Maybe tighten the graphics on level 3 a little, but that's not amazing. And again, it's another Mario stage, another Zelda stage. You don't get any new songs with that.
Right.
The coolest extra stage that they added was the Wind Waker boat stage from Brawl.
Yeah.
That's only on the Wii U version. So in terms of the bundles for that, it's $8.50 for new stages on the 3DS. So you only get 4. $10.50 on the Wii U, and then $14.50 for both. Unless there's a stage that you absolutely must have, maybe just get it individually, because that bundle, I honestly don't understand the bundle price being $14.50 for both.
Yeah.
So that's pretty expensive. And then finally, the Mii Fighter costumes, which to me are the most asinine thing ever. You can buy each costume for $1 to $2, depending on whether it's a first-party property. Yeah, it's cool to make my character look like Mega Man X or Proto Man, but they still fundamentally play like the Mii Brawler, the Mii Shooter or Gunner, and the Mii Swordsman.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, nothing gameplay style changes.
Right.
And they have 6 bundles for these things. They have sets 1 through 3 on both the Wii U and 3DS. They're $6 for an individual version, or $9.20 for both. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
For the 4th set, it's $5.25 for an individual version, and $8.05 for both. I don't understand the pricing there. The fifth one, which is the smallest one, because it has a Geno costume and a Chocobo costume, is $1.50 for both versions, or $2.30 for the bundle. I don't, again, get that. And then the last one, which has like Sonic, Knuckles, a bunch of extra characters. I'm sorry, not Sonic. It has Tails and Knuckles and a bunch of other characters. $4.50 for the individual bundles, and then $6.90 for both. Honestly, I feel like if you bought Smash Brothers today, like for the 3DS it's $40, and for the Wii U it's $60, and then just got the character bundle, you'd be set. Because you don't need the extra stages, and you don't need the Mii Fighter bundles. Those are ridiculous. So the character bundle prices, those are solidly priced, I think. I think those are worth your money. Stages, unless you absolutely must play on Hyrule Castle from the Nintendo 64, the tornado in the middle of the level. Okay, sure. I guess. I mean, I really like the boat level from Wind Waker.
Yeah.
That's only available on the Wii U. So, okay. And then, again, the Mii Fighter bundles are worthless. They're just worthless. Don't
do it.
Don't do that, you know. And this is coming from somebody who actually has all the DLC. I have spent an ungodly amount of money, but you see, the thing is, I feel like it's worth it.
Yeah.
At least for the characters, at least for some of the stages.
Yeah.
So, right out the box, you're going to be paying $75 for all the characters in the game on the 3DS, and $95 for the Wii U.
Yeah.
Or if you're a person that's buying the Wii U and 3DS version together at the same time, you're spending $142 for all the characters.
No.
And I have. I have. And again, I play on the Wii U, I play on the 3DS. I play on the 3DS more than I do the Wii U.
Yeah.
Weird. I've logged in over 1,000 hours on the 3DS version.
That's amazing.
So is it worth your time and money? Depends on what you want. So,
but really think about it.
Really think about it. Characters, solid yes. Stages, Mii Fighters. And I think that's going to wrap it up for today.
Cool. Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
That was very comprehensive.
I try to be.
Comprehensive rundown.
You know, I try to be comprehensive because when we're talking money, that matters to everybody.
Yeah, you're right. All right, guys. So, thank you for watching this episode of A Zenny Save. Until next time, play hard and save your Zen. Peace.